You know what got me started with all this stuff, with traveling the world on points and maximizing credit cards? It was actually the idea of airport lounge access. Way back in the day, I was traveling around almost entirely in economy class, and I would always walk past the airport lounge and wonder to myself, well, who are the special people who get access to this lounge, and how can I also get access to the lounge as well? And so in this video, I wanted to do a quick summary of all of the different ways that you can access airport lounges as a Canadian traveler, including booking business class and first class tickets, elite status, and through your credit card perks, which I think is going to be the easiest way for most travelers to maximize their time before the flight and enjoy some time in the lounge. If you've wondered the same thing before, if you've been to the airport and asked yourself, how do I get access to the lounge? I feel like I deserve access to the lounge. Then make sure to hit the like button down below just as this video is starting out. That helps the YouTube algorithm show the video to even more viewers and helps more of us get access to the lounge before our flights. And make sure to stick around to the end of the video too, where I'll be doing a special little giveaway. And with that said, let's jump into the video. Now, the first method for getting access to the airport lounges is going to be pretty straightforward, and it's just booking a business class or a first class ticket. Now, obviously, there's not that much room to optimize here because it's a pretty straightforward perk of booking a premium class ticket. Ideally, you would be booking on points instead of paying cash because obviously, if you're paying cash, it's going to be $4,000, $5,000. If you're booking on points, it's going to be much cheaper. And one of the perks of business class and first class travel is indeed that you get to access the lounge before your flight. If you're flying with one of the major global airlines out of their hub airports in business class, then typically you'll get access to their flagship business class lounges, such as the Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges in Toronto or Vancouver, Lufthansa business lounges in Frankfurt or Munich, the Qatar Airways Al Morjan business lounge in Doha, and so on and so forth. These lounges typically have unlimited food and drink, mostly buffet style, but sometimes a la carte dining as well, especially right now during these pandemic times. They'll also have, an area to work, an area to sit and relax, and sometimes they'll also have shower rooms and nap rooms as well. I'll also introduce you to the concept of lounge hopping, which is when you have access to multiple lounges before your flight, and you can actually visit each one of them one by one to get a taste of each lounge and sometimes get a taste of each of the airlines operating the lounge as well. So for example, if you're ever traveling out of London Heathrow on a Star Alliance business class flight, then you can actually visit no less than 4 separate Star Alliance lounges: the Lufthansa Lounge, the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge, the United Club, and the Singapore Airlines Silver Chris Lounge. You can have some sausages in the Lufthansa Lounge, go to the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge for some Canadian food and drink, visit the United Club to have a taste of United Airlines, and then go to the Singapore Airlines Lounge to have some noodles at the noodle bar as well. It's a great way to sample a whole bunch of different airlines and cuisines as an extra little adventure before the main adventure of the flight itself. And actually, there's going to be a 5th lounge that you can visit at London Heathrow too. It's part of the Priority Pass network, which we're going to talk about later in the video. Now, if you're very enthusiastic about the airport lounge experience, like I am, then you might choose to arrive at the airport several hours in advance in order to sample the full breadth of the lounge hopping. Now, that's not going to be for everyone, but something that is going to be for everyone is arriving at the airport early prior to a first class flight. If you do get to experience a first class flight in the future, then you definitely want to maximize the ground experience in the first class lounge beforehand. First class lounges tend to pull out all the stops and treat you to a higher level of luxury compared to business class lounges. You'll find things like a dedicated full service bar, a sit down a la carte dining section with premium food and drink, private nap rooms with king-sized beds and shower rooms, and private car transport directly to the plane itself. So right now, most first-class lounges around the world are closed during the pandemic, but I'm really looking forward to the day when they open up again and we're able to indulge in those experiences. So that's a summary of accessing airport lounges before your business class or a first class flight. Now, obviously the question is, what if you're not traveling in business class or first class? Because if you're flying in economy class, then getting access to an airport lounge is going to make a real difference to the overall flying experience. You can load up on food and drink before your flight and relax a little bit before getting crammed into a very tight seat. What are your options in this case? The easiest option for most travelers is going to be through a membership to Priority Pass, which is a global lounge network of over 1,300 airport lounges. Now, Priority Pass access is offered as a perk of many travel credit cards here in Canada. The two best credit cards for this purpose are going to be the American Express Platinum Card and the American Express Business Platinum Card. Both of these cards offer unlimited access to Priority Pass lounges around the world, whereas the other travel credit cards in Canada, including many of them issued by the Big Five banks, only offer a limited number of complimentary visits on your Priority Pass membership every year. So for example, the TD and CIBC Aeroplan Visa Infinite Privilege cards, as well as the Scotiabank Passport Visa Infinite card, all offer 6 complimentary visits to Priority Pass lounges every year. Meanwhile, the CIBC Aventura Visa Infinite offers 4 complimentary visits, and so on and so forth. Obviously, if you're going to be traveling quite frequently and you're not going to be flying in business class and first class all of the time, then having access to the Platinum Card and the Priority Pass membership with unlimited visits is going to be tremendously useful, and it could justify the high annual fees on those cards. On the other hand, if you're not going to be traveling that often, then one of the lower end cards issued by one of the Big Five banks with 4 or 6 complimentary visits to a lounge every year might make more sense for you. If you're on one of those lower end cards, then you're allowed to bring guests into the lounge. They'll just count towards your overall allowance of the number of visits that you can have on a complimentary basis. If you're on the Platinum Card or the Business Platinum Card, then you're allowed to bring one guest on a complimentary basis every time. And if you have access to one of the premium US credit cards, then you can actually bring 2 guests for free. Now, for the most part, if you're traveling with your family, then Priority Pass lounges around the world are typically happy to let you bring 1 or 2 children into the lounge for free. However, that's not an official policy. It's just up to each airport lounge and the agents stationed at that lounge, depending on whether there's space in the lounge, and sometimes depending on the mood that the agent is in on that day. Now, in addition to the Priority Pass lounges, we should also talk about the Centurion lounges operated by American Express themselves, which you can also access by holding the Platinum Card, the Business Platinum Card, or if you're lucky enough, the American Express Centurion card. The Centurion lounges are typically a step above your average Priority Pass lounge in terms of quality, and oftentimes it's also better than your average airline operated lounge as well. There's usually a specialty bar and a dining area featuring local ingredients from the city that the lounge is based in. Most Centurion lounges these days are still based in the United States, but there's a few popping up internationally. There's a really good one in Hong Kong, for example, and American Express are constantly in the process of expanding their Centurion lounge footprint as well. If you can make some extra time for the Centurion lounge before your flight, then I definitely recommend arriving at the airport a couple of hours in advance in order to experience them. Now, as a Platinum or Business Platinum card holder, you can bring in up to 2 guests to the Centurion lounge free of charge, and you can also bring in your immediate family, so that includes a spouse and children under 18, free of charge as well. Finally, there's also a new category of lounge access on credit card perks that was recently introduced here in Canada, and that's accessing the Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges on the Aeroplan premium credit cards, the TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite Privilege, the CIBC Aeroplan Visa Infinite Privilege, and the American Express Aeroplan Reserve Card and Business Reserve Cards. As long as you hold one of these premium Aeroplan cards, you can access the Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges in North America before traveling on an Air Canada or a Star Alliance flight, even if you're just traveling in economy class. For some travelers who fly with Air Canada frequently, that's going to be a justification for the high annual fees on these cards. However, I do believe that the Priority Pass access and the 1,300 plus global lounges on the American Express Platinum Card and Business Platinum Card is going to be a better deal for most travelers. And speaking of Maple Leaf Lounge access, that brings me to the final way to access airport lounges, and that's through earning elite status with an airline. So for example, here in Canada, you can access Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges as a perk of earning Aeroplan elite status by flying with Air Canada frequently. Starting at Aeroplan 25K status, you'll get a couple of one-time access vouchers to the Maple Leaf Lounge. At Aeroplan 35K status, you'll get unlimited access to Maple Leaf lounges within North America. And then at Aeroplan 50K status and above, you'll get unlimited access to the Maple Leaf lounges around the world. Now, for the most part, earning elite status with an airline is going to require flying pretty frequently with that airline and spending a fair bit of money with that airline. And Air Canada and Aeroplan elite status is no exception. And so that's why I think for most travelers, it's going to be easier to go through the credit cards and get lounge access that way rather than aiming for elite status. Having said that, we will do a future video talking about all the details about Aeroplan elite status and perhaps some ways to qualify for status without actually having to fly. Outside of Air Canada, you can also aim for elite status with one of the major global airlines. Indeed, if you were to get Star Alliance Gold status with one of the Star Alliance airlines, then you could also leverage that status to access Maple Leaf lounges domestically when you're traveling with Air Canada. If you'd like to see a video about the best ways to earn Star Alliance Gold status, then make sure to let me know in the comments below. As usual, the more comments we get, the more urgently I will make that video. So that wraps up all of the major ways to access airport lounges before your flight and spruce up the airport experience when it's time to travel again in the future. Now that brings me to my giveaway at the end of this video. I've got 5 of these Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge guest passes right here, and I'm giving them away for free because they're expiring at the end of February. So I'm not going to use them. If any of you are planning to fly before the end of February, ideally around mid to late February because it's going to take some time to ship these out, then simply send me an email at ricky@princeoftravel.com and I'll give them away on a first come first served basis. If you're traveling with multiple people, then you might need more than one of these. Just let me know in the email, let me know your mailing address, and I'll mail them out on a first come first served basis. Remember, they expire on February 28th, 2021. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the Prince of Travel YouTube channel. Just click the subscribe button below the video. And let me know in the comments what's the best airport lounge that you visited in the past. Was it an airline lounge? Was it a first class lounge? Was it a Centurion lounge? Let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Then a quick favor would be to hit the like button down below. That helps the YouTube. Then airport lounges around the world are typically happy to let you bring one or two lounges. K status, starting at